Behind us is called the Freedom Square. Of course, throughout the Soviet times it was called the Victory Square. We held very voluntary parades here. Up until 1991 as the Soviet Union disbanded, we didn't feel the need to have parades anymore, and we turned this entire place into a giant parking lot. It was a really great parking lot. Whenever the city wanted to have a concert or an event of some sort, they would have to move the cars, reschedule the buses and so on. It's a lot of paperwork, it's a big hassle, it costs quite a bit of money to do this every single time. So finally in 2008 the city realized there is technology to build parking lots underground. The parking lot got moved underground, the square got this form, and at the same time we built this lovely thing here. It's a new thing. It's 2008. And this, of course, when you are on the Freedom Square, this is our monument of freedom. When it was built, everyone hated it. For reasons, for obvious reasons, I guess. For three main reasons. First up, it's very big, it's very imperialistic. It does not look like it symbolizes freedom. It sort of resembles 1930s, and so it's a bit of an authoritarian feel to it. Secondly, the cross at the top. Well, crosses in general are not an Estonian thing. I'll get to that later, but to some people, that cross can make it resemble the Nazi Iron Cross. I guess, whoopsie. The top part over there, it is actually a medal of Russia. And then there's a poem over there that's really patriotic. Loose translation is, raise a flag and swear that this country's rivers, roads and valleys will never surrender to a foreign power again. It's cute. Alright, we're gonna keep walking up a hill. Yeah, sure.
That segment of the wall over there.
Oh, yeah, alright, so if you see it, actually, there's a road that continues from there to here as well. And if you look behind you, there's a zigzag in the middle of the Freedom Square as well. All of these things are pointers of where the wall used to be at as well. So what happened over here, there used to be a moat around all of the old town. That over there symbolizes where the moat used to be. A little bit less than 50 years later, Tallinn was declared a free town. Being a free town meant that you had your own laws, your own rulers, you had your own currency, and there were also a few things that you had to do if you were a free town. These free towns existed all over Europe. Basically, they were city-states. They were also the economic centers that traded each other a lot. And the free towns, you had to have a city wall. It was mandatory. If you wanted to be a free town, they would accept you in and they would say, build a city wall for fortification. Because, well, you can't do trade if you're vulnerable. The same thing goes. War is bad for business, so it's the same thing. So the city wall, we started building this in the start of 14th century, finished around 16th century. The city wall, well, there's a part over here. Not the most impressive part, but there are quite a bit of things still left of the city wall. All of it used to surround all of the old town, making a closed circle. It would be over 4 kilometers. There were over 40 towers. Right now we have around half of all of this left. So we have about 2 kilometers of a wall, around 20 towers are still here. Depends on what you count as an actual tower. Because some things are like, yeah, that's just a pile of rubble, but some people count it as a tower, so it's also. And all of this was only in the lower part of Tallinn. Now the name of this tower is the Kick in the Gak Tower. If you laughed already, that's fine, it's okay. The Kick in the Gak Tower, this Kick in the Gak comes from German. It's an old dialect of German. If you translate Kick in the Gak, it means peek into the kitchen. It's a really strange name for a tower. You would like to name a tower like Conqueror or Victory or something. No, we just go look into the kitchen tower. The name is that because it's such a tall structure. If you were a soldier working at the tower, you could technically peek into the enemy's kitchens. You could see what people are doing really far away. And also, you could peek into the kitchens over there. Over there, there's the lower part of the city. There's houses with chimneys. The soldiers at the top of the tower could look through some chimneys, and through the chimneys you see the literal kitchen. So you can see what people are making for dinner, and so on. So it's a medieval joke, actually, and peek into the kitchen tower. It's a funny thing, I think. But the tower also has a rather strange thing on it. If you look at the tower, this was built in the 16th century, this tower. It was finished, it was finished in the end of the 15th century, and 16th century cannons got popular. And in the 16th century, they also had something called the Livonian War, if you remember. Now, if you see, there's a little bump on that side over there. There's a silhouette of a bump. There's actually another one on the left of it. And there are actually cannonballs in a row over there. This tower has cannonballs embedded into it. This is because of the Livonian War. In the Livonian War, if you remember, there were 4 different empires trying to conquer this place. One was Tsarist Russia, and Tsarist Russia failed. The guy who was in charge of Tsarist Russia at the time was called Ivan the Terrible. The name is the name gives it away. He had one goal for Russia, it was making it bigger. He was also the first guy to unify Russia into a single empire, so that's really well done. And he also planned on coming over here. Ivan had a battle with Sweden at the time, and then Ivan used cannons. He blasted holes through this tower over here, but he failed to conquer Tallinn. And after this, Tallinn started belonging to Sweden. And Sweden thought, hey, we have cannons of Ivan. How about we fix this tower up again, and we put the cannonballs inside the wall of the tower to show that Ivan didn't have enough cannonballs to conquer Tallinn. Yeah, so it's just an in-your-face thing. It's pretty cool. Currently, this tower is a museum of medieval weaponry, and under this tower there's something very interesting. Right now we are standing on top of a medieval fortification system. It's the same thing that was built into the walls of this bastion hill. We're on top of it. These tunnels, they've saved thousands of lives during different wars, during the Second World War, during the bombing in March 1944. A lot of people fled into different tunnels under the old town. The tunnels remained untouched by the bombs. They are really well built. It was a stone rectangle shape, like a regular medieval castle. This later edition over here, this pink part of salmon, not pink, was actually built in the 18th century, so there's a bunch of different architectures from different eras represented here. So the walls on that side are from the 14th century. This over here, as I said, is from the 1700s. Inside the Parliament building, you can also find things. We are standing in front of a very beautiful church. This church is called the Alexander Nevsky Cathedral. The name and the look give it away. It is a Russian Orthodox church. It is the most famous thing about Tallinn. If you Google Tallinn and you put it on image search, this will be the only thing you'll see. And it is also one of the least Estonian things in the old town. I think this is about buildings. It's only 100 years old. It's only 100 years old. It was built in 1900 exactly. It was finished. So it's only 117 years old. Considering the next thing we're going to see is from the 13th century, historically not that valuable. And also the reasons for building the church, they were not, well, very Estonian friendly, and they were purely political. So 9% sure, because we don't know when any of these were built. We only know their first mentions in writing, and this one has it the earliest. It was first mentioned in writing in 1233 already. So in 1233 it was an active church that was working, so it was probably built before that. And it also makes sense that this is the oldest church, because if you're on a crusade and you conquer a place, the first thing you do is you build the church as high up as you can, so a lot of people can see it. That's how you establish your religion. Make sure people see the church. The first mention of this church is not a beautiful one that, oh, we've opened up a lovely church. It's a rather gruesome story. So in 1233, the Danes and Germans were owning Estonia. The Danes had the northern parts, the Germans had the lower southern parts of the country, but they were both residing in Tallinn. And they couldn't really figure out who owns Tallinn. And they both wanted to. The Danes had built this church, and the Germans had a great plan of, let's go and kill all the Danish people. The Danes heard about this plan before the attack actually happened, so they decided that they are both Christian. And they are both crusaders. So they are both crusaders. They're not going to win in an open fight that's going to be a bloodbath. But they are both Christian crusaders, so if they go and hide themselves inside it...
We're walking to a viewpoint on a tour. This is the viewpoint. Here's the viewpoint.
Yes.
The single pilot cut us off.
Yeah,
The group there.
yeah, I think you need stickers or something. No, it's not written. There's an unwritten law that you are not allowed to build anything taller than that. The second tallest building in the city is the Swiss Hotel, and that's 124 meters and 69 centimeters. There's 1 centimeter in between. So we actually take it seriously. And currently you can also climb that view platform. It's a lot of steps. So it is an exercise and it's worth the view. I do recommend it. But you have to mentally prepare yourself. Costs you €2 as well, and it's a really, really good view. So if you have some time and you want to torture yourself.
Utan uppe är det inte 293.
There's a lot of stairs and this cool wall. Wow.
Building. We call that the Stenbock House, or our government building. So we just walk past the Prime Minister's offices. Something really great about Estonia is the fact that we're standing next to a view platform, next to the Prime Minister's offices. There's no policemen, there's no security guards. Tallinn, the center of the old town. This place has been used for celebrations and marches and punishments of people over time. This place is slightly special because, well, we have never had an execution on the town hall square. We still had executions throughout medieval times, but the executions happened outside of the city walls, because if you have it outside of the walls, then the ghosts can't come back to haunt you.
Okay, we're all done with the tour now. We are back from our walking tour of Tallinn. We got back on the ship around 2:45, I'm gonna guess. After we walked around a bit afterwards, so it's actually after 9 now. I didn't film much. Tomorrow we'll be in St. Petersburg, and I'll be doing the official ship tour then. We will be doing our tour the day after tomorrow, because it'll be in St. Petersburg for 2 days. So, we'll see how that turns out. Our style daily for tomorrow. Monday in St. Petersburg. we will be staying on the ship again, as our tour visa only is for 1 day, and I'm actually fine with that because that means I get to do filming when probably no one's going to be on board. We'll probably try to go to breakfast a little later because on port days it is so busy. Let's see. So I went on the ropes course again, and that was fun, and got to walk the plank over Estonia this time. Still a bit scary, but it was fun. And then we've done some water slides. I haven't done the drop yet because it's not quite what I want to do right now. A little scary. But the other ones are fun. We'll go ahead and show out our balcony as we head to St. Petersburg from Tallinn. And here we are. There's some different tankers, not tankers, but container ships out in the distance. Alright. Again, I like the backlighting effect on all this backlighting. And the switch for the backlighting is right here. And this is the regular switch. It takes a minute to turn on. We just leave the backlighting one on, and whenever you come in and put the key in or the dud, that's what you get. So you just take it out, put it in. Yep. So I will see you on our ship tour, which is coming up in St. Petersburg. Hopefully I can walk around the ship and go in as many venues as possible, even though they're all probably closed or not operative, which when they are operative it's generally better because then all the people aren't in it and you can see the venue itself instead of all the people.